It's never easy, Tony Grasso.
I work for the state of Texas. And as you might expect, I have a lot of free time on my hands. I wish. Since the recent reorganization, our workload has doubled. I asked my colleague, how are you doing? He said, Tony, I'm miserable. I hate my job, I hate what I do, and I hate the fact that I still have 10 years before I can retire. Maybe you have heard someone say something like that, or maybe you have said something like that. Madam Toastmaster, friends, and those of us who are paralyzed by that wall of fear, unless you are that rare exception, we've all been there. Most of us, like myself, tend to be more fearful than fearless. Oh, sure, I could tell you, you need to be fearless! But au contraire. I believe those who are truly fearless fall into two categories: those who have nothing to lose and those who are delusional. One day my boss George said, Tony, I've never met anyone as fearless as you. I said, fearless? I'm not fearless, I work for the state. You're never going to fire me, you're never going to give me a raise, and I'm never going to get a promotion. Now tell me if that's not the recipe for a complete professional license. I could afford to be fearless because I had nothing to lose. But I assure you, when T.A. Grasso has something priceless at stake, he's not so fearless. In 1992, I owned Grasso Engineering, the very first certified AutoCAD training center in Mexico. AutoCAD is a design software package used by engineers and architects. And I sent Carlos, my trusted engineer, to California to become certified on all of the latest versions of AutoCAD. Now, Grasso Engineering was located in the state of Querétaro, which is about 120 miles northwest of Mexico City. And Carlos was heading up the governor of Querétaro's pet project, a project financially critical to my company. And the final revisions would be waiting for Carlos on his return. For Carlos, this was about 5 hours worth of work. Carlos was scheduled to return on Monday. The drawings were due Wednesday. But Monday arrived and Carlos did not. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday came and went, and Carlos did not. The governor's office called. I called absolutely every number I had, and for 2 days I was trying to locate Carlos. I finally located Carlos. I found him. Yes, good afternoon. This is Tony Grasso. Could I speak with Carlos Ramirez, please? Yeah, the new employee. Yes, please. Carlos, this is Tony. What is going on? We need to get those drawings into the governor's office this afternoon. You quit. And without you, I'll close in 2 weeks, and you'll take all my... Thanks a lot, pal. Not only did Carlos quit at the most inopportune time, but he also informed me that now he's certified on all the latest versions of AutoCAD, he's going to take all of my clients. But something more pressing hit me. I didn't know the latest version of AutoCAD used to modify the governor's drawings, nor did anyone else in the state of Querétaro. In one afternoon, I was about to lose absolutely everything I had worked for. 2 years of work was about to go down the tubes. Now I tell you, that was fear. Now I ask you, what would you have done? What would you have done? What would you have done? I was determined to get those drawings into the governor's office, so I pulled out those manuals. Not that anyone ever studies the manuals. But that night I did. I made 4 phone calls to the governor's office. 18 hours and 4 pots of coffee later, those drawings were on the governor's desk the next morning. I walked out of my office, exhausted and tired. And then the reality of what happened hit me. I started yelling and screaming like a crazy man. My stunned secretary called Ruben, my publicist, who came over with a 6-pack of beer. Well, to calm me down. And I vented my frustrations, and I realized all I was doing was delegating my fears to Carlos. I was afraid of learning all the new versions of AutoCAD, so I sent Carlos to California. I was afraid of teaching my classes in Spanish, so I had Carlos teach my classes. I realized if Grasso Engineering was going to survive, I needed to confront my fears and stand on my own 2 feet. You remember that 6-pack of beer? Well, 12 6-packs and 8 margaritas later, gringo like me doing in Mexico? And Reuben came to life. He said, that's it. We'll run a full-page ad in this Sunday's newspaper. Picture of the thinker. And headline, why is this gringo giving AutoCAD classes in Querétaro, Mexico? I said, Reuben, that's ridiculous. Only a pair of drunks could come up with something like that. Do it. We ran the ad Sunday. On Monday, my phone was ringing off the hook, and by Friday afternoon, I was ready to kill that phone. But the good news, all of my classes had filled for the next 6 months, and I had contracts with Kellogg's and General Motors. I faced my fear, and I learned from it. You can do the same. We can either face our fear or run from it. The choice is ours. One is difficult, the other one is miserable. Remember my colleague who worked for the state miserable? He took that difficult first step. He now reports to the CEO of a major corporation, received a 4-fold increase in pay. And he asked, why didn't I do this sooner? I know why. Fear. Because fear is like a wall that destroys your hopes and ambitions. It's difficult to break through. It is never easy. But nothing worthwhile ever is. Take that difficult first step. Face your fear.